I'm a DJ boy, going to Dcentral, making NFT from the values, being crypto poor but JPay rich.
How's everybody doing? Let's roll the applause one more time. Great to see everybody. My name is Kevin Clark. I am the founder of the Decentraland Report. We have some amazing creators here. We're going to be talking about changing the music industry with NFTs. This is not going to be a lecture. This is going to be shared experiences from creators who are in the space doing amazing things. So maybe you can get inspired, because I hear a lot of people talking about NFTs are the future of the music industry, but maybe you don't realize it's actually happening right now, and these creators right here are the ones doing it. So let's start by giving a round of applause for all of them. I'm going to start by having them introduce themselves. Let's make some noise for Tatiana right here.
Thank you. Hi everybody, my name is Tatiana DeMaria, a lifelong career musician, but have also been in blockchain and crypto for a long time. And I now run the Web3 division at a tech company called Nachi.io, like Fibonacci. And we built a huge platform across music and NFTs over the last year. And I've been consulting for musicians, companies, artists in moving into the space and translating their businesses to Web3.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to get into experiences more, but let's keep going down the line.
Hey everyone, Erik Mendelson. I'm the director of blockchain business development for OneOf. OneOf is a green music, sports, and lifestyle marketplace based in Miami.
Awesome. And Edmond, yes.
My name's Edmond Allmond. That's my mother's fault for that rhyme.
It's a great name.
I've been in music all my life. Classical jazz, studio, a lot of studio stuff, post-production, Oscar team for a couple of films, blah, 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 blah. I am with UREEQA. We are focused on IP protection. Our main focus right now is copyright, and we deal with NFTs. We're also dealing with some real estate, insurance. It's very, very interesting. I'll talk to people more about that later. We'll talk about it in the panel.
Amazing. Absolutely. When I found out about these individuals right here, I was going to get to hang out with them, I already had a whole bunch of different questions. I'm excited to see, because ultimately I think what it comes down to is people try to look at this ecosystem and they say, you know, we're moving into Web3, when what I see is really people evolving into Web3, evolving what they do and saying, how can I make this more efficient, the things that I'm doing in Web3? And for myself, it really started with a desire to sort of connect value transfer to the people I was trying to create my art for. You know, I'm a full-time tech startup founder. I'm very passionate about music technology, you know, and how that all comes together. But for me, it wasn't so much about trying to make a business case when I was getting started in the space. It was about just wanting to connect with the people that I was trying to share my art and my craft with. And so, like, for that matter, I think everybody has entered and sort of evolved into how they're using this in different ways. And to start, just like, let's just go down. I want to know more about how you sort of evolved your craft into this space, and now you're lending it to other people and showing them how to do that.
Well, I think it was so I remained independent as a musician for years and years, and I actually ended up building, I was very lucky, touch wood, and got lucky as a teenager. I wrote this album and I had some charting singles, and I was thankful enough to have enough success to then build my businesses independently, so I could not take a deal if I didn't want one and still remain sort of financially independent and own all my masters. So right during the pandemic, right before the pandemic, I was brought into Nachi, this tech company, to help develop our product in our culture and entertainment division. And that's because monetization for musicians is incredibly difficult in this landscape. And I had been building business in this. So it was like, okay, let's bring this in and build product to help musicians create and monetize. And so our focus over the last 2 years, we've got some incredible tech, which, as a musician, I'm so happy to have. So it's rolling out, but it's great because musicians are entrepreneurs and have to be entrepreneurs. So we've built a lot of tech that's AI leveraged to help automate that process for musicians. And then I'd been in Web3 for a while, and I started posting on TikTok just to help educate people on Web3 at dinner parties. I was getting really tired of turning the whole dinner party into well, blockchain is fucking this and this shit, and it's a ledger online, free. So the point is, this was early 2021, and I actually randomly sold the first ever guitar solo NFT on the blockchain in early 2021, just kind of poking around on the creative side and going, There's great opportunity here, but let's test it out instead of just scoping it. And so now we have all this tech built in Web 2 to help musicians, and we step into Web 3 and we have NFTs. And the beauty there is, as you can see, my focus has been around empowering musicians and remaining independent and empowering myself in that department for several reasons. Number one, back in the day, the music industry was designed to have labels and managers take the business load off the artist. Why is that? Because we all know that being in a creative mindset and writing music is a very different mindset than being in a business mindset. So as streaming sites came out, revenue dwindled drastically. So now you need 1 million plays on Spotify to make $3,600. And if you co-wrote that song with someone, you divide that in two. And if you have a producer, you divide that further. And if you have a label, you divide that further. So music doesn't generate income anymore. And what it means is that artists have to be so astronomically huge with billions of plays to generate livable incomes. That also means that labels and managers, for if you're a manager making a 20% commission, you need the artist to be huge to make a living yourself. And so if you're a label, it changes who they take. And the labels is the same thing. They need you to be so huge already before they even step in. So to bring all this back to creating, essentially, what happens is that musicians no longer have anyone helping them run their businesses, and over the last decade, they've had to become full-time entrepreneurs. So now they're like, we need to create all this fucking content on TikTok, and I need to do random dances, and it feels super inauthentic, and I don't want to do this, and I need to grow my Twitter, and it's stress. It's like stress across the board for musicians to get millions of fans and millions of plays to generate a little bit of income. And if you're lucky and you have, a label or a manager or even a team, and you build your business and you're able to monetize, great. But what you then sacrifice is actually your creative time. So musicians are currently miserable humans. If there are any musicians out here, like constantly posting content to grow their audience. And when we go to NFTs, we flip it. Yes. You can sell 50 NFTs for 0.05 ETH and make as much as 1 million plays on Spotify. And what that does is it allows you to sell to your 1,000 true fans. Instead of trying to make everyone on earth listen to your music, we all know the 1,000 true fans model. If you have 1,000 true fans that spend $100 on you each a year buying a t-shirt, a concert ticket, whatever, you make $100,000. So if you have now on Spotify, a new fan or 1,000 true fan could be listening to your song, you're generating the same income. Absolutely. You can't connect fully just through your music or experiences unless it's Patreon, which is then, videos, and now you have to create more fucking videos. So essentially, to bring it back, what I would say is that NFTs really empower musicians to get financial freedom, to really focus on their fans, to give their fans value, and at the same time, earn financial freedom, which gives them the time to relax, not feel like they need to hit every fan in the world, not spend all their money and time on Facebook ads, actually connect with their fans, make a living, and be able to create again.
Absolutely. It changes the craft. And this is something why I love technology, and I don't think people pay enough attention on how closely connected technology and music really are. If we look back at, the music that was shared back in the earliest days, right, when we're talking about cathedrals, the kind of music we hear reflects the technology at every stage. When was the last, we don't really get too many opportunities to hear a band like Queen come out of the woodworks because the technology that is propelling that kind of music has changed. And so now what's getting through the end of the funnel, like you said, the labels have to invest in the biggest artists in order for them to get, so what's getting out there is changing.
Because what's also getting out there is people making songs designed for TikTok. Exactly. They're making songs designed to get millions of plays and attention so that they can survive. You don't have many artists who are just like, I'm going to create my shit, it's going to be great art, and I'm just going to put it out. Because then they need another job to survive and eat, which means, again, less time to create.
100%. And I think that, with that mindset, we shouldn't make the mistake of thinking this is going to go backwards in the sense that we're going to go back to this world where it's the best music that's going to get played, right? The Beethoven, the Mozart, that's what's going to make it through to the end of the funnel. And I think this ties to what Edmond's working on, is that actually it ties to what are investors in the music industry and people who are getting into this space of music and NFTs, what are they really getting into? They're getting into utility. And this goes back to one of the previous things that we were listening to before. Is like how one of the previous panels. How is the utility tied to the asset that is there? Because I think utility plays a huge role in the what's going to get to the end of the funnel now. So can you talk about that? In your
True, and I will. I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to really strongly disagree with you. Okay, I'm 2,000 years old. I've been in the industry since I've been a little kid. So I think the beginning problem is that musicians don't learn that this is a business. Okay? Real estate is a business. You know that. Somebody says real estate. You look at a real estate developer. You go, this is a business. I get it. If I'm going to get involved, I'm going to have to educate myself. I'm going to have to know a little bit about property and rules and then accounting and blah, blah, blah. Music is the same. If you're going to make music, make music. If you have no interest in the business, give it to somebody, and you better have an agreement with them. And if you don't, your stuff will be wonderful and people will love it, but you won't make money from it. That's it. That's bottom line. So when they come, you're 1,000, the idea of 1,000 people, 1,000 strong fans, right? You could even diminish that number and still make a good living if you do it right, depending on the product that you sell. But that's, I think, the most important thing out of what you said. If people understand that the model is not hard, knowing the business and working the business side is not difficult.
Although, may I add to that?
Sure.
So what I would say is that whenever musicians and labels speak, for example, everyone's like, remember musicians, it's the music business. Now, as a person who's run all my businesses,
right.
I would agree, except what they forget is it's the music business.
That's the problem.
So, and what I would say there is you have to know about your business. You have to know how to build your business. It's more about the time management and the energy. And so it's not about the fact that musicians shouldn't learn. You should protect your fucking money.
Right.
Protect your shit.
Yeah.
But if you can't manage your time because you are being the social media person who's making content, the social media manager, the tour booker, so then you have to hire people. And again, as a person who's run the business for many years, hiring people can also be tricky.
Yeah.
And then now you're managing people and you're CEO. So then you want to hire a CEO. But CEOs in music don't exist.
Exactly.
They're managers.
Exactly.
So you have to hire a random CEO and turn them into a music person and educate them on that.
I want to have a whole conversation with you about
Yeah, and
this
I'm getting carried away. I want to let you speak.
This is where it's so important. Now, we get to the idea of utility. I won't take up a lot of time, but when we're talking about music, to me, I'm like you. The utility is music. But how do we then, if we're going to use NFTs, add to what this tool is? So the NFT is not a piece of art. It's not a piece of music. An NFT is a tool to which you add what you've created, right? And so with UREEQA, our job is protection of that asset and making sure that that asset is protected for the creator and for the customer. And in producing utility, there are a number of different ways that it can be done in the music industry. And really, I think we just have to be as creative as you're describing. You know, if we stay open-minded about what's possible, we can figure out how to provide utility within an NFT. In the end, you're trying to connect with your audience. It's about a one-on-one connection with that person, and then multiplying that person by however many. We get up to 1,000, right? Or 10,000, and we keep growing our audiences, which is great. But I think we have to just be very open-minded and very creative about what we're going to present to that audience and be very careful about the technical side of what an NFT is and what can be attached to it and how that can be redeemed. So what our solutions are the protection, making sure that you can see what is available and what's been redeemed, and then the ability to redeem it. So we've built solutions for that.
That's infrastructure. I mean, that's what we need right now.
Right.
Eric, I'm curious to hear you weigh in on this. Tell me a bit more about how you evolved into this space. What do you see on the horizon?
Well, I'm a recovering music executive, so I come from the music industry, managing and discovering talent and working on the marketing.
Placed in between us right here.
Marketing and promotion side, and got into blockchain technology more so for social tokens back in like 2017. Basically being able to reward fans for discovering content and sharing it across their social networks. My team and I were about 5 years early on that concept. and that kind of morphed into NFTs. And I think that the next iteration past NFTs is going to be what we were doing in 2017, which is to actually reward fans as well as creators creating content, fans discovering it, sharing it, and everyone getting compensated for their network effects that grow whatever platform they're a part of. None of us are getting compensated for growing Apple or SoundCloud or any one of these 100 other streaming platforms. And I think that Web3 technology has the ability to break that whole model wide open.
Absolutely.
I do want to touch on the utility word for a second, but before I get into that, I am curious to know how many in the room are musicians. I'd like to know what kind of audience we are. Great.
Yeah, baby.
How many people in the room have actually bought a music-related NFT? All right, great. And how many of you that have bought a music-related NFT, was the music actually integrated into that NFT, or were you buying more of a name and likeness type art NFT? Right, see, very, very few. I don't know where I was going with that. It was just a research thing for me.
Absolutely.
Utility, in my opinion, is the most overused fucking word in this entire NFT space, because 97, 98% of NFTs don't actually add any type of utility. They give you a perk. Tickets to a show, you get to listen to music in advance, but that's not the gift that keeps on giving. So to me, the real utility for a music-related NFT, beyond it being access to a membership or the artist digital fan club, which is really what this music NFT space is all about, is being able to return some sort of yield to the holder. And the only real way to return yield to a holder is if you're able to unlock liquidity in the music space around digital rights or around music rights. There's one or two companies out there that are doing it. I'm not sure if they're doing it legally compliant. It's none of my business. I mean, I hope that they do very well and succeed. But what I'm talking about is royalties. Being able to basically, if the token holder, if I either invest in a developing artist because I believe they're going to be the next Drake, or if I want to buy into an artist royalty stream right now because they are Drake, I think that that's really the future of where this music NFT space goes, and I think that we're going to see it before the end of the year in a very legally compliant manner, and I hope that OneOf, the company that I'm employed for, is the one that ushers that in. To me, that's the real utility, is being able to return yield, not get some song that you've never heard of before. I mean, that's here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd love to add to that. Oh, sorry. What was
of those other platforms? Well, Royal is one of them.
Royals, definitely.
And there's one other one I completely draw a blank for it. If I Google it now, I'll figure it out. But
Big Boy, Nas, Diplo, they've dropped NFTs on Royal, so I would definitely check them out. Who's made a music NFT?
Who's made one?
Hold on.
Fuck yeah, girl.
Afterwards, definitely link with me. I wanted to buy some more music NFTs.
So I had a thought on what you were saying, because I have a bit of a different perspective, which is, at the beginning of 2021, there was a lot of talk and chatter around royalties, right? Musicians, we were all in Clubhouse talking, and it was, how do you collect NFTs? Royalties, how do you collect royalties on the blockchain? Because BMI are behind and no one's on the blockchain yet. And the truth is, I've just talked about how you make jack shit in royalties, right, as a musician. So the concept of building an entire platform where your fans can invest in you early and also make jack shit in royalties with you, no. And I think it's wonderful in terms of yield, and I actually agree that should be a component, and it's a viable component moving forward. With that said, I also agree with what you're saying about access, right? So the point is, a lot of the platforms now, as a musician, the reason we've been building our platform since May last year, is because we didn't want to build a platform where you just got royalties, because as a musician, I know how little that pays, and I don't want to make my fans spend a lot on an NFT or anything of an NFT and sit there and wait for royalties like me. It's not the funnest game. However, there are other things where, collectible songs, for example, there's concert tickets, there's lifetime tickets, there's all sorts of different things, art. So to me, the NFT is a file type, but it's a file type that allows us to attach so many more things to it. So instead of just selling a song or a vinyl or something in life, you can now attach a digital fan club membership to the NFT. You can attach backstage access. You can attach so many things. I was just going to say that what I've been doing over the last 2 years in consulting is helping artists connect with, they struggle in what to NFT, what platform to NFT it, fear of not selling the NFT, how does it relate to my community? And so we built a platform called superfanatics.com. We spent a year building out, it's rolling out soon. And as a musician, what I love about it is it takes care of so much of this for the artist and makes it easy for the fans to be able to buy value and buy in without having to be Web3 native, but make that connection with fans. And I say all of this to say, it's huge. It's not just royalties. It's not just concert tickets. It's not just collectible art. It's your entire ecosystem can now exist in Web3 in a way that you can monetize and earn financial freedom. And it's win-win because your fans get incredible access to awesome things you can make. Now, what you make, whether you just make a song that's a lot of musicians are like, I don't want to make a crap song and sell it. I want to save my good songs for radio or for promo and shit. What am I going to make a crap song and then sell that as an NFT? That doesn't feel right. No. So anyway, superfanatics.com is rolling out very soon. There's a landing page. Feel free to check it out. It's super, S-U-P-A, fanatics with an X on the end. But
yes, I definitely want to make sure, and we're wrapping up now. Special thanks to everybody who came out here. We're going to have 5 minutes, so I think ultimately I want to go down and sort of wrap this up with everybody who's on stage, sort of like inspiring people out here. We have a lot of musicians, a lot of people who are interested, and give them an idea of something that you've done that you would suggest them trying to apply to their own music. I'm going to start and give an example which I think has been really fun and something I did with my own music, because I feel like people are always saying, you know, something that, and I think, like you said, there's a lot of different values you can attribute to an NFT, but something I always felt like is, people always want to say, I was one of the first people to discover an artist. I was one of the first 10 people to love Outkast, or I was one of the first 100 people to go to a Michael Jackson show. But how do you own the value of that position? So I ended up dropping an NFT that was like the 9 on Earth badge, and it was like for the first 9 subscribers, people could purchase this NFT, and it would validate them as one of the first 9 holders in my community. And same thing when we reached 99, and actually we got some On Earth band members in the house right now, so shout out.
Woo!
Let's go.
Fuck yeah.
So it's like awesome, because it was a way for me as an artist to always make sure I could be there for my community. I could always point out and say, those are the people who are, love you, bro, who were the first people to really be there. I don't need their bank account. I don't need their mailing address. If I want to send them a plane ticket, boom, I can send them Ethereum. I can always check on the blockchain and see who were those first 100. But also, they can sell the value of that. So when I reach 1 million subscribers, they can easily say, hey, not only was I one of the first 99, but I can sell the value of being one of the first 99. That's going to give that access point, you know, in that title, so someone can go out and say, hey, I have the value of being one of the first people, and I see so I think things like that can bring you closer to your community, which I think at the end of the day, any artist, that's all you want. You just want to get closer to and be able to translate value to the people who you're creating for. And that's just something, maybe go ahead and create your On Earth badge. Go ahead and create your whatever token it is that you can validate who are those people that were there first. Who was the 1 to 1,000? This is a cool way that you might be able to use the technology.
Awesome. I think that, you know, I love the fact that people can now bet on their beliefs. I feel less inclined towards bragging rights, because now every single business is going to have bragging rights. And so I'm a bit more, my passion lies in how much value can I give to people. If you bought a Billie Eilish NFT, for example, when she was 14, 15, before she blew up, there is still value in owning the copyright or owning a portion of music. I'm very lucky to write and produce for movies and things, and they pay a lot. Like, right, the actual value of owning the song, still has a lot of value. So at this point, if you bet on someone who you're really passionate about and you do buy one of their collectible songs and they blow up, the value of that actually does go up. And so what I'm passionate about is being able to offer people who come in early and who are part of it and who go, I love live, you played that differently, or I was the first person who heard this song. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let you keep that song and be one of the only people who's ever heard that song. And if, you know, I blow up, other artists blow up, at that point, you actually have an asset. And it's a thank you to your fans for believing you at the beginning. It's a thank you to your fans when you sell 100 NFTs and you make some money to put out your EP or to pay for a tour. Your fans get to give you some financial freedom and you get to tour, but they get value in return. And if you grow, they've bet on their beliefs, they see an upside to that. They might be there 30 years later going, I'm really glad I believed in that artist, because now I can put a down payment on a house, for example. So there's royalties that can do that. There's song ownership. Don't underestimate the value of song ownership as well. But to artists, obviously we can't just kick out a million songs and be like, every song is valuable and I'm gonna blow up and everything's great. Like, consistently build to honor your community, consistently give value to those who are there. I love being in a community and continuously getting shit where I'm like, how are they giving me all this value? I love them. Thank you. Yes. I love this shit. So I want to fucking give ridiculous value to my community to thank them, and I want them to feel like every day they're getting an upside that they can enjoy.
100%. Absolutely. Thank you.
Musicians historically have been all about the upfront check because of how record companies and music publishers, how their businesses are programmed. And music artists are less likely to take an equity deal when there's an upfront check involved. When you bring them into the NFT space, what they're essentially doing is they're creating a membership campaign, or they're creating their own brand. That's what I'm getting at. NFTs are their extension of their own brand. They're actually creating their own brand. And most musicians, other than them being a musician, are not used to creating brands. They're used to taking checks from brands. And if you're a musician in the room, and I know that there were a lot who raised their hand, and even a lot of the superstar musicians that I talk to on a daily basis, they're not in this for the long haul. They're not into developing a brand, which, as we all know, is not a month process, a week process. It's a long-term process, and you need to be thinking at least a year out if you're going to do an NFT campaign, at least if you want to do it right. So make sure that you're funneling all of your traffic onto Discord. I hate Discord, whatever. I'm barely on it, but yeah,
or Twitter.
It's the thing, or Twitter,
Discord's gonna die in the NFT space in the next year or so. I think.
I certainly hope it is, but in the meantime, before Discord dies, I think that Discord is the place where a lot of the degenerates like myself hang out and buy NFTs.
Decentralized generation. That's
so like start to grow your Discord channel before you even talk about doing an NFT. Let them buy into you as an artist and as a developing brand. Come up with some sort of roadmap or utility. I fucking hate that. Some sort of perks and utility that go along with what you're giving them, and make sure that you keep giving them more value that you bring in. And I think that you'll do pretty well releasing a music-related NFT.
Well said.
This for me has been, sitting with you three has been the most fun I've had on a panel, and it's so encouraging.
You need to get out more. I got to get you out.
Speak for yourself.
We'll go out tonight. We'll have some more fun.
No, the thing for me has been watching the business develop, and then watching things come toward blockchain, and then watching people talk about crypto, and then watching people talk about NFTs, and then people talk about Web3. But the level of passionate knowledge that you bring to share with the people who are musicians is very important, because many folks don't understand the possibilities that there are. You have to be able to draw that line, like Erik, you were just saying, being able to talk to, as a musician, directly to your audience. And then what does that mean? What are all the steps in between? There are plenty of examples in the industry of those who have taken major hits. Prince being one of them. I mean, his story has been all over the map.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to me, same day, 2 minutes after him.
Happy birthday. Where's the cake at?
Tony Braxton, I mean, you can go back in time and you can see what the industry has done to people. Okay, and for those of us who have been in it, it's made us sick. We've moved away from it. Those of us who have been performers, we've had to deal with it. But in the end, dealing with NFTs allows you the ability to build your life around your art. I mean, that's as much as a blessing.
That's all we want,
right? And so, and I'm happy that I'm part of a company. This has been something I've been doing since 18, 19 years old, that supports what these folks do. So, I'm proud
if people want to contact anybody on stage, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you everybody for coming through. 1 second. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edmond.
Allmond.
Happy birthday to you. How do people contact y'all? What is your tag on Twitter? Might be the easiest way, or...
My tag on Twitter, put an underscore between my first and last name.
There it is.
Please follow OneOf NFT on all social platforms, Twitter, Instagram. My email is Erik, ERIK, at OneOf, ONEOF.com. Awesome. My cell phone, just kidding.
Yeah. Well, yeah, although that's actually, I would come to my Twitter at Tatiana DeMaria. Also, Instagram, if you want to direct message me at Tatiana DeMaria. I'm on, you could Tatiana at Nachi.io. And lastly, I would say if anyone's on TikTok, that's where my biggest crypto community is. I have a Discord, I have all sorts of shit. But it's TDM Crypto. That's my initials.
Let's
Crypto.
go. And myself, you can find me at KevinOnEarth999 on Twitter. Check out the DecentralandReport.com. We are a team dedicated to preserving the history of the metaverse. We're a decentralized news team. Just happy to be here and capture this moment in history.
This is great.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And thank you, guys.
All artists,
Thank you.
sign up to the cosign program on OneOf. Cosign is highlighting independent artists. Cosign program on OneOf. You got to sign up. OneOf.com.
Yo, and I'm going to back that with superfanatics.com. Artists, come find us.
Let's go. Thank you, everybody.